Let's talk about this Cowboys game. Eagles really took it to you, but at the same time, I felt like your defense kind of played right. Like it played pretty well, at least for the first half. I was telling someone it actually kind of reminded me of like a college game where Georgia plays against uh, Tallahassee or something, just some like
Hmm.
middle-sized school, and for the first half,
Yeah.
they're able to go kind of blow for blow with the big dog, but then in the second half the big school does all the big school program things where they make adjustments and they've got just more horses. They can cycle in guys that are still better than your starters, and you just run out of gas. Your defense kept you in the game for the first half, but you needed some offense, and you just had none. That's kind of what it looked like. Um, maybe they had a great game plan for you as well, but at a glance, this did not give me a lot of excitement for the rest of the year. Uh, but we'll see. But yeah, tell me what you thought, because
I've tried to find a way to make this where's my excitement for the rest of the year? And I think the fact I finally found it. I do believe that we have a potential to be one of the top 5 picks in the draft. So it took me a minute to get there, but I found it. I mean, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, look, we have strong rivalries with Washington and the Giants and all that, but we hate the Eagles, right? Like, sorry, Eagles fans. I mean that with all due respect, but that's just the way it is. I think it's mutual. And so to lose to the Eagles is always going to stink. But man, you asked about the game, or you mentioned a game plan coming in. We talk regularly about what would kind of be the game plan if I was going up against this team or whatever. How much game plan do you need for Cooper Rush and the anemic way that we use Rico Dowdle? Um, every time Zeke Elliott touches the field, much less the ball, I'm embarrassed. I just don't. I don't want to see him launch another fumble 10 yards downfield. You know, I just there were so many fumbles in this game. It's like you said, it did look like a college team. We're making kind of basic errors by the regular players. Ferguson had an ugly one. Like it was ugly all around on offense. We talked the other week about Jameis Winston coming into play for the Browns and how he just kind of came in and said, "Let's go! Like I'm just going to throw the ball. Whatever happens, happens." I would have been a lot happier if Dallas had taken that approach. If Cooper Rush had thrown 4 interceptions, but he, launched the ball downfield, there'd been some fun plays and all that sort of stuff. We talk about having a puncher's chance. I think it would have given us that kind of puncher's chance. Of course, it's equally frustrating that we start getting our defensive players back and they're coming back and being effective, and there's no offense. We had 5 sacks. We were making Jalen miserable. There was a great interception by Diggs. It was the defense was a lot of fun to watch for half the game that they could breathe. The second half they couldn't breathe. It's just it was an ugly loss. So I guess from Dallas's point of view, we have no quarterback. They were perfectly happy to have Trey Lance and Cooper Rush. I mean, at this point in time, I don't care which one you put in, but just take the leash off of them, right? And whatever you do, run Rico 20 times. If he gets injured, he gets injured. I don't mean to be callous, but like
it's
we
football.
need to know what he is. Either he's a thing or he's not a thing. Thank you for your time in the NFL, right? Whatever it is, we need to just go ahead and work on those things. Outside of that, I guess I'm hoping that our offensive linemen, who are 2 rookies, will continue to develop over the course of the season. That's my high hopes for the Cowboys going down the road. Lastly, to say is for Philly, they played an okay game.
Mhm.
I didn't learn anything about Philly in this game, except that Jalen Hurts is susceptible to getting sacks. Like against a rushing defense, which we were able to have for the first time, I think, this year. He ran in a couple of touchdowns. Our running game is still porous, our defense, I should say. But I didn't learn anything about them. I think we'll learn a lot more about them this next week. I don't think we'll learn anything about Dallas as from a player's point of view. I think the only thing we can learn for the rest of the season is what is really there from a coaching point of view. Can they make something out of what's left or not? And if not, I think that should have a reckoning come the off season. So I mean, it's a bad game. There's not a lot of quality entertainment being played there. So good game to Philly. They'll move on. What about you? What did you pick up from that game?
Mostly the same. I mean, the whole thing about you. First of all, I should touch on this. Your rivals, you left a couple off the list. So it's Washington, Philly, and New York, the Giants. But it's also probably the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos. A lot of people would say the Arizona
Exactly.
Cardinals. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
much everyone. The Chiefs don't really care about you right now, but everyone else,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm rooting for the Broncos and whoever's playing
Yep.
against Dallas. And now
It's
they're
true.
throwing in the Chiefs as well. But like
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, you have a lot of rivals. Um
It's true.
but yeah, a lot of the same things. You were talking about Jalen, getting after Jalen. Y'all sacked him 5 times theoretically on 25 dropbacks. So 20% of the time that he dropped back to pass, you got him. Unfortunately, there was the other 70%, or well, 70,
Yeah.
whatever. I can't do math. 80%. So yeah, seriously, just I'm sorry, Mama. I don't know math anymore. But yeah, the other thing you can kind of get a feel for the rest of the year is, and I've never seen this with y'all. Even the year, was it 2020 that y'all had a bad year and ended up getting Micah Parsons, or was it the year before?
I think so. I think you're right.
I think that's right. And so, it was a lower year. It wasn't great, but I don't recall there being tons of drama, tons of hissy fits, and things like that.
Right.
I don't recall that. I'm sure there were a couple of frustrated moments, and that's fine. You're supposed to be frustrated with losing. You want to win. But I just don't want, like, what I've seen, some of the punches being thrown at teammates. San Francisco, just Debo just apparently punched 2 guys with the same blow on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like the long snapper and the kicker, I think, and stuff like that. Seattle's dealing with some of that, or was earlier. I think maybe they've cleaned it up. But anyway, so some of that culture stuff and who fits into it, although some of that may not matter, because if you're heading for a top 5 pick or top 10 pick, or it may not even matter what pick at this point, there's a good chance your culture is going to change because your coaches might change. So might
Sure.
might change. I don't know. I feel like we could probably be pretty confident about that. But anyways, I don't really want to digress into a big off-season conversation. Um, yeah, the run game, it's weird. Your run game was working better than your pass game, and still they just wouldn't commit to it. And I agree with your frustration is like, Cooper, like, just go for it, man. Just throw the ball. And he went to the
Yeah.
right guy. He went to CD a lot.
Yep.
But like air it out just a little bit. Try 8 yards down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just, yeah, take some chances, man. You got nothing to lose here.
Yep.
So I mean, you could turn the ball over, but as you pointed out, they did that a fair bit anyway. You may as well
Yeah.
just go for it. So
Yeah.
we'll be interested to see moving forward. I do think, Philly's a good team. Yeah, are they
Sure.
Super Bowl contenders? I don't know. They're definitely a playoff team for sure, but
Yeah.
are they really one of those teams that's going to challenge a Detroit and that kind of thing? I don't know. So
Yep.
it's not like you lost to a bad team, but I would have loved to have seen y'all put up a better fight. Um, Another bright spot. I did hear some people talking about in the media. They're just like, quarterbacks that I feel like get a positive nudge this week, right? And they were like, one of those quarterbacks, Dak Prescott. I'm like, really, Dak Prescott? And it was like, yeah. After seeing them without him, I realized maybe we judged him unfairly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
There's
just like,
some
yeah,
truth there.
there's some
Yeah.
truth there. So it was a nice little shout out for old Dakota.
Yeah.
But
There's some truth there, but all of these things go to highlight the same thing we talked about at the very beginning of the season, which is what did we do as an organization as a running game? Like, what did we do? And the longer the season goes on, it almost appears like what we did is we brought in Ezekiel Elliott, which we never even gave a shot to. So either they signed him completely sight unseen and just said, "Oh, Dak says he's great, so we'll do it again." I have no idea the mental process there and how heavily we're going to pay for that and have already, but we're definitely going to pay for it for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Could not be overstated, because right now having a middle of the pack running back would make a world of difference.
Okay.
So yeah, gonna be crying about it for another week, and then I'll move on.
Well, that's understandable. But anyway, be fun to see. Well, will it be fun to see? It could be fun to watch you guys play against the Texans if for no other reason than the Texans have proved to be very vulnerable to pass rush.
Sure.
And seeing Micah just in a bad mood might be kind of fun. It's next Monday, so it'll
Yeah.
be cool to see where they go there. But yeah,
Yep, I agree. I'll be interested to see if we win another one this season with Cooper. We'll try to see how it goes.